Primero, pedirles permiso para grabar. Para los que no me conocen, soy Mayo Malí, soy la directora ejecutiva del CENS. Y contarles, para los que no nos conocen, que somos una corporación privada sin fines de lucro que está conformada por 5 universidades: la Universidad de Chile, la Pontificia Universidad Católica, la Universidad de Talca, la Universidad de Concepción y la Universidad de Valparaíso, a quien nos honra representar en este Centro Nacional en Sistemas de Información en Salud, CENS. Nuestro propósito, nuestra misión o todo lo que nos mueve es contribuir a mejorar la atención de salud de las personas a través del fomento y adopción de tecnologías de la información en salud, y con ello dinamizamos al ecosistema de innovación y emprendimiento en salud digital. Somos un centro que nació en la Corfo y actualmente somos un centro con apoyo de ANI. Nuestras iniciativas van en diferentes ámbitos. Tenemos iniciativas de bienes públicos, y esto, lo que estamos haciendo acá, para nosotros es un bien público. Les vamos a comentar un poquitito por qué. Son iniciativas asociadas a los objetivos de nuestras áreas que se desarrollan con financiamiento de la Corfo o de la NID y o con actores del ecosistema que se disponibilizan a la comunidad gratuitamente. En este caso, esta comunidad, digamos, más privada, digamos, en la comunidad en general. Hacemos actividades de difusión, que son actividades que contribuyen a la formación de capacidad del ecosistema. Hacemos innovación colaborativa, que son iniciativas de innovación asociadas a los objetivos de nuestras áreas del CENS. Generalmente estas tienen un financiamiento compartido y tienen el objetivo es que tengan impacto en mejorar la atención de las personas. Y también entregamos servicios tecnológicos que son desarrollados en base a las necesidades de los actores del ecosistema, que contribuyen a la sustentabilidad de del CENS. Hacemos diferentes cosas. Por ejemplo, puse algunas: certificamos software en salud digital y perfiles laborales para digamos, para la salud del futuro. Realizamos asesorías en los diferentes ámbitos, en interoperabilidad, en capital humano, etc. Impulsamos la innovación para mejorar la atención de las personas, entregamos herramientas para el desarrollo del talento humano, y con ello, en total, buscamos ser referentes y líderes articuladores de la transformación digital del sector salud, del país y de la región. Esto es un poco nuestras redes. Cuando hablamos de ecosistemas, hablamos de todos los que participan en la transformación digital. La academia, además de nuestras universidades, hemos trabajado con varias universidades, no solamente con universidades, sino que con áreas de ciertas, como el Open Bochef, Universidad de Magallanes, Universidad Santo Tomás, Centro de Formación Técnica Santo Tomás, la Universidad Latinoamericana, diferentes universidades con las cuales hemos hecho, además de nuestras universidades socias. También han confiado en nosotros diferentes instituciones prestadoras de salud, instituciones de las tecnologías. Tenemos varios vínculos con prestadores públicos y privados, quienes se han atrevido a hacer cosas con nosotros, o estamos trabajando y colaborando efectivamente en mejorar y en apoyarlos para la transformación digital en salud. Tenemos socios internacionales, como por ejemplo el BID, la Organización Panamericana de la Salud, la Organización Mundial de la Salud, RACCEL, instituciones que digamos que han trabajado con nosotros, y específicamente hoy día estamos en este proyecto con I-DAIR, sobre el cual no me voy a referir porque Alice lo va a presentar. También tenemos relación con asociaciones de pacientes, asociaciones empresariales como la SOFOFA, la ACTI, ADIMET, pero todas son asociaciones, sociedades científicas como el SOCAS, por ejemplo, los colegios de enfermera, médico, con los cuales trabajamos, todo con un mismo fin, que es mejorar la calidad de atención de las personas o la salud de las personas a través de la implementación de sistemas de información de salud o con el apoyo de las tecnologías. Este es el curso al cual nosotros los invitamos. Este es para nosotros un bien público que está entregado para contribuir al desarrollo del talento humano para la salud digital. O sea, estamos en un tipo de iniciativa y con una de las objetivos que tenemos, que es contribuir al desarrollo del talento humano para la salud digital. Este evento está cofinanciado por I-DAIR y por CENS. I-DAIR es, como les decía, un socio estratégico nuestro y Ali se va a referir un poco más a él. Este curso es un curso cuyo plan de estudio fue desarrollado por USAID, por el Digital Square y por TechChange en base a contenidos compilados por estas organizaciones internacionales. Por lo tanto, entendemos de que va a ser tenemos excelente material que compartir con ustedes. Tenemos 100 participantes. Hicimos un poco más de 100 invitaciones y 100 de las invitaciones que hicimos fueron respondidas adecuadamente en una convocatoria que hicimos el CENS y la Red de Salud Digital de las Universidades del Estado, por la necesidad de tener a la academia también para que estos conocimientos que se adquieran no queden en las personas que están trabajando, sino que también se puedan después replicar. Y es por eso que esta convocatoria se hizo en conjunto con la Red de Salud Digital de las Universidades del Estado. Tenemos 100 participantes, 100 personas que se preinscribieron y tenemos además una lista de espera para personas que no alcanzaron digamos, a incorporarse dentro de los 100 primeros. ¿De dónde vienen estas personas? El 84% es de Chile, dado que la mayor convocatoria la hicimos acá, digamos, por esta relación que tenemos con I-DAIR, de lo cual nosotros somos un hub de I-DAIR acá. Tenemos personas del Perú, de Ecuador, del Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Paraguay, Uruguay y Argentina en esas proporciones, pero como les decía, lo que intentamos es que fuera principalmente en Chile, porque este es el primer evento que va a ocurrir en español de este curso. Cumplimos con la casi paridad que nos exigían nuestros aliados. Tenemos un 55% de personas del sexo femenino y 45% del sexo masculino, lo que además nos genera mucha gratificación porque generalmente estas áreas son muy relacionadas con el género masculino. Y también tenemos personas de todos los rangos etarios, muy jóvenes, interesantes, jóvenes que estén incorporándose, y también personas que con toda su experiencia, mayores de 60 años, van a poder captar muy bien y transmitir estos conocimientos en sus instituciones de salud. Estos son los 100 participantes. Tenemos que el 38% vienen de la academia. Principalmente, no todos, digamos, principalmente de los académicos de la Red de Salud Digital de las Universidades del Estado, pero también tenemos académicos de las universidades que han trabajado con nosotros y que nosotros los hemos invitado. Tenemos un 15% de los participantes que trabajan en hospitales públicos, no solamente en hospitales, sino que también en centros de salud públicos, el 4% prestadores privados, el 19%, en ministerios de salud, no solamente de Chile, llamamos ministerios de salud, también organizaciones relacionadas con el Ministerio de Salud, FONASA, por ejemplo, Superintendencia y otros, un 9% en direcciones de servicios de salud que trabajan haciendo, digamos, salud digital, 7% organizaciones no gubernamentales y después en forma de menor tamaño en industrias de las tecnologías, institutos de investigación, independientes, digamos, áreas gubernamentales, no Ministerio de Salud, y agencias de gobierno relacionadas con salud digital, como por ejemplo ocurre en Uruguay, que está con nosotros hoy día. Próxima. Dado que teníamos 100 respuestas, a ustedes les hicimos varias preguntas: ¿qué esperan de este curso? ¿Qué experiencia tienen en salud digital? ¿Y dónde esperan aplicar los conocimientos? Dado que teníamos más 100 respuestas, le preguntamos a ChatGPT que nos sistematizara esta información, y vamos a ver qué nos contestó esta herramienta de inteligencia artificial. Primero, antes de ver la respuesta, no sé por qué se me corrió, tenemos 78 inscritos en la plataforma de TechChange. Les recuerdo, por favor, que ojalá antes del próximo jueves, que tenemos la reunión de kickoff de este curso, tienen que estar inscritos para poder acceder a la plataforma en la cual se va a dar esta institución. De no inscribirse, vamos a pasar a, digamos, a incorporar a las personas que están en la lista de espera, así que los invitamos a inscribirse y mirar entre sus colegas si ya están inscritos. A pesar de que es un buen número, todavía nos faltan un poco de personas para la inscripción. Bueno, le preguntamos a ChatGPT y esto es lo que nos contestó. Lo importante es que las expectativas son diversas, que eso es muy interesante, y esperemos poder responder. Desean adquirir conocimientos y herramientas para, digamos, para implementar, principalmente en el ámbito de la salud digital, liderar procesos de transformación digital, generar proyectos de innovación en todos los ámbitos, digamos, liderar procesos de transformación y generar proyectos de innovación, que son cosas muy interesantes. Lo otro interesante, y que también para nosotros es un tremendo objetivo, es establecer las redes de contacto, conocer las experiencias y buenas prácticas y poder intercambiar entre los participantes de este curso. La otra cosa interesante es que se piensa en mejorar la planificación que están haciendo ustedes, y esperamos efectivamente que este curso apoye en eso. ChatGPT nos dice que este curso les brinda la oportunidad de fortalecer sus habilidades y contribuir al avance de la salud digital en sus respectivas áreas de trabajo, y eso es nuestro objetivo como CENS y como I-DAIR también. ¿Qué experiencia tiene? Dijo que no podía cuantificar automáticamente la experiencia, pero encontramos personas con mucha experiencia en levantamiento de modelos de la experiencia, informática médica, personas con algo de experiencia, con poca experiencia, y también tenemos personas con ninguna experiencia en proyectos de salud digital. Por lo tanto, tenemos lo interesante, una rica variedad de personas en relación con la experiencia de sistemas de salud digital en nuestro país y en los países que nos acompañan. ¿Qué va a hacer con los conocimientos adquiridos? Importante, que va a ayudar a los países a adoptar e utilizar estas herramientas, brindando asesoramiento y apoyo técnico para su implementación efectiva, y eso es lo que nos interesa. Necesitamos mejorar las capacidades de las personas que están, ya sea liderando o apoyando estos procesos, para que esto sea más fácil, más rápido de lo que está ocurriendo en nuestro país. Y por eso han sido todos ustedes cordialmente invitados a este curso, porque no nos cabe duda de que ustedes están en lugares que van a poder aportar a que esto realmente ocurra. Esto es lo que yo quería decirles, y solo darle en este momento la bienvenida a Alice. Alice, quien representa a I-DAIR, ella se va a referir a cuál es el rol que tiene I-DAIR, qué es lo que espera de esta convocatoria y por qué vino con este hermoso regalo al CENS para poder brindarles a esta cohorte chilena y América Latina este curso que es extremadamente relevante, que como les decíamos, es primera vez que se va a dar en español en Chile y por eso el retraso. Nosotros estamos conversando con ustedes del año pasado, el retraso para tener la posibilidad de hacerlo en nuestra lengua nativa, que va a ser mucho más eficiente y efectiva en los resultados que queremos lograr. Muchas gracias. Dejo de compartir, Alice, para que puedas subir tu presentación. Decirles una cosa que se me olvidó, que todo lo relacionado con los aspectos técnicos del curso no se van a dar en esta sesión, sino que se van a dar en la sesión que fueron convocados para la próxima semana. Por lo tanto, le vamos a responder cualquier pregunta que no sea preguntas de los aspectos técnicos del curso. Te dejo la palabra, Alice.
Great, thank you so much, Mai. And that's a very nice overview that you gave, seeing the enrollment in the course. So really happy to meet you all. I will give you a bit of an overview of I-DAIR, since I believe we're probably new to most of you, and we are a relatively new initiative. But perhaps before I dive into the I-DAIR overview, I'll just maybe add a few words about the course, since we're ending on that. We're still kind of in that topic. As Mai said, so this is a course that came out of. There's a little history here, just to maybe it might give you some interesting insights. So it originally started as a kind of an initiative that brought together experts for a 10-day workshop in Lesotho in Africa, and then Benin. It was 10 days of PowerPoint from various experts. And WHO, USAID, others there, they knew that this needed to be a shorter course, something more interactive. So that's how this course came about. And I knew about it because actually I was at the organization that was mentioned there at the initiative Digital Square that was being funded by USAID to fund the course. And TechChange is the key training course development partner, and a couple of representatives are on the call. So with USAID and TechChange, and they compiled all that material, the 10 days of material from that WHO and IT workshop, and compressed it down to a 5-day course. And then COVID hit. So they were getting ready to actually do the full in-person testing and travel to Sierra Leone, and then COVID hit. So during COVID, they adapted it to this form that you're going to see now, the blended learning form. Part of it self-paced, reading and videos and other resources. And then the other part is the weekly live interactive sessions. And this course has now been run with, I believe, over 400, I think it's actually even higher than that, but over 400 participants from actually WHO staff themselves, USAID staff, UNICEF staff, World Bank staff. And we actually were able to get a small cohort of 20 people in for the USAID session that was held from last September to December, and they had a few seats left. And as Mai said, we knew this Spanish version was in the works. It was in progress, and so it seemed that the best use of our funds would be to fund the Spanish version of the course, as the English language version has been run several times already. So we're very happy to do this. My thought process behind this was that I'll move into our slides in a second, but that we're working on some longer term initiatives, but there's demand right now, right? There's need right now for training. And I knew this was a high quality course, has been very thoughtfully designed, very interactive experiences, even a board game, stay tuned for the board game. So I knew we could immediately get this organized. So very happy to be able to organize the first Spanish delivery. So with that, let's see if I've got my mouse in the right place. So that's just to go into a little bit of the history of I-DAIR. So I-DAIR technically started 3 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, but it's an initiative that emerged out of this other initiative, the UN Secretary General's high-level panel on digital cooperation. And our founding CEO, Ambassador Amandeep Gill, was a co-chair of this initiative. And so you can see some of the quotes coming out of this work. And so thinking about broadly what I-DAIR stands for, the International Digital Health and AI Research Collaborative, these issues were identified. This issue we have of data silos. I mean, of course, the pandemic really highlighted a lot of these issues, and needing to enable pooling of data, so scientists and others could diversify and enhance their data for research and insights to improve health. And Mai mentioned the idea of public goods. So yes, the course, the Digital Health Planning National Systems course, is considered a public good. And literally what that means, it even means that the slide decks are available to be reused. So for instance, Johns Hopkins University has incorporated some of the slides into some of their courses in their international public health program. So anyways, that was a little bit of a side note, but yeah, so trying to really find a way to create a digital commons, right? To combine data, to be able to leverage other digital solutions, and especially here, the idea of having like a common rails, and actually I'm missing the quote on guardrails as well, because with AI, as you are all, I'm sure, hearing, there's a lot of sort of ethical and other concerns being raised about AI. But we also want to make sure that this is used for the benefit of humanity, not just for commercial purposes. So the another I guess insight coming from that panel on digital cooperation is that you can see this is the quote from Gary Marcus, who is one of the people active in the AI field. That AI is going to require massive interdisciplinary collaboration. And this must be a quote from an event in Geneva, because he said, look at CERN up the road, right? Thousands of researchers from over 20 countries, all working on, that nuclear particle accelerator type of science. That's definitely not my field. Working on this kind of science that can't be done in an individual lab, by an individual organization, or even an individual country. And these are issues that could be neglected if we don't marshal the resources to work on this together. And so that was sort of the insight that maybe we need something like this for AI as well. And I do see a lot of those parallels. We all talk about the need for to include multiple diverse disciplines in informing the development of AI and ensuring the ethical, beneficial use of AI. And so this is I-DAIR was born. So we've been in this incubation phase. This is our current mission statement, you could say, or to be that neutral, trusted platform for enabling R&D of digital and AI for health. and the platform for addressing data and AI challenges that no single country or institution can solve on its own, with a focus on the global South and small states. And that part is actually quite important because there are quite a few large initiatives already in the global North. There's the European Open Science Cloud. There's the I think Australia Research Data Commons. The U.S. has the U.S. at the National Institutes of Health has quite a few big data and AI platforms, and of course other initiatives. The idea here, just to illustrate this need, I was really struck when I think maybe two years ago, maybe even further back, the two co-founders of the Center for Human, what is it called? The Institute for Human-Centered AI at Stanford. One of the co-founders, Fei-Fei Li, is very well known in the AI field, one of the pioneers. They were calling for, in the US, a national research resource in AI, because they were saying that academia cannot keep pace with the tech industry. They don't have the same volume of data, access to talent, the financial resources, it's just they just can't keep up. And Stanford is saying this. Stanford, one of the best universities for computer science in the US and the world. If they're saying they can't keep up, then what the situation must be in less resourced countries and institutions. So we really see this as a place for I-DAIR to play a role. I won't go into all the details here, but because the next few slides will illustrate some of the work we're doing in these different areas. We are in the process now of the new CEO coming in, because Amandeep moved on last July to be the envoy on technology at the United Nations. So we had a CEO search, and our new CEO actually starts on Monday, Ricardo Baptista Lete. He's from Portugal. He had just stepped down as a member of parliament. He's a trained physician, has worked in digital health. So we're very excited to embark on a new phase, and we'll be working on refreshing our strategy over the next 3 or 4 months with him. So some of this may change, but I think some of these core ideas are going to remain. Yeah. So we are headquartered in Geneva. I'm actually based in the Washington, D.C. area, but we have actually staff around the world. Actually, one of my colleagues is on the call right now, Irene Reylandera. She is based in Geneva, but originally from Spain. And she will be auditing the course. I will try to attend as I can, but she will be the main person, as of course she's a native Spanish speaker. So we have staff around the world. We have our 7 hubs, and with CENS being our hub based in Chile. And we are in the early stages of building this federated network of research nodes. I will get into that in a second. So our funders, our founding funder is the Fondation Botner, or Botner Foundation, and Wellcome Trust, and then more recently the International Development Research Center from Canada. And we have quite a few partners, our other hubs, and other partners that we're doing various projects with. So this gets into that federated network that I just mentioned. So and this is part of that, building that a sort of a virtual data commons using this federated learning model. The idea that we want to be able to pool data, but there are concerns and regulations in countries that are governing data, that it needs to stay in country, it cannot leave the country. So that's the issue of data sovereignty. So with the federated learning model, the idea we have is that to to establish these research nodes, each with their own physical box, and they can use their own data, keep it local. And meanwhile, we all can share the the models and algorithms, and those are what are shared around, and that's trained on your local box, on your local data, and then you share the model back with everybody else. And so we actually have a central node at the UN International Computing Center, or UNICC, which houses like the source code and the models. And also for people who don't have a physical node or don't want to have their own node, they can use the UNICC node itself. So we are actually in the process. We've actually built our first prototype box. I mean, we've literally built it, took a while because the Bitcoin mining craze was we could not even get GPUs because they were all sold out. But then that Bitcoin mining slowed down, had a bit of a crash. So our first box is actually, I think I'm not sure if it's actually already on its way. I think it's about to be shipped to our Kenya hub. Our Kenya hub is at the African Population and the Health Research Center. And we are, we are looking to add more. So the idea is that, this will foster that collaboration. This is also to help researchers who are new to AI and machine learning start learning that. So that's part of this suite of solutions. We want to enable the researchers to sort of point and click. They probably still need some basic foundational training, but they don't need to learn all the code, right? They don't need to get into the weeds of all of the code. Because researchers are now, of course, researching how AI is used in health, and they need to use AI techniques in their research. So those are two knowledge gaps that we're trying to fill. So that's just a quick overview of that. Now this is the, as you see in my slide or my background, I'm the capacity development director. So this is this effort with the course is part of this larger vision for building a capacity development network. So again, the same idea of a virtual network to foster that collaboration. So we've been working on a digital health competency framework in collaboration with WHO. And we want to start developing an AI competency framework. Then the courses and other kinds of learning experiences can be mapped back to the competency framework. And new courses then can be developed based on this competency framework. And as I mentioned, this TechChange WHO USAID course has been very well vetted, so we knew we could just offer this immediately instead of waiting for the competency framework. Other goals about helping courses get accredited and earning continuing education units, CMEs, continuing medical education, or continuing professional development units. And we want to foster a peer network, alumni network, coaching and mentoring. So these are further down the road. We're in this phase here. And also our first target audience is the in-service workforce, the current working professionals. Down the road, mainly because it takes longer to get into the formal curriculum, the med schools, nursing schools, et cetera. Maybe as an elective, it'll be easier than, and then the next phase would be to incorporate more into the formal curriculum. And then also to target policymakers, decision makers, then we need to look at business schools, schools of government and public policy, international relations. And here's a very high level depiction of what a competency framework looks like. This is very conceptual. Just what are the key areas of knowledge and skill that you need to have to be proficient in working in digital health. So this is what we're working on. Then all of this would have that trusted research infrastructure I showed you as a foundation, because this will be a place to tinker with what you may have learned. We're even exploring ideas of a regulatory sandbox. So yeah. And this slide just shows about our we have a memorandum of understanding with WHO, focusing on AI and on capacity development. This is our vision statement for the competency framework. Establishing that global digital health competency framework that defines standards for professional competence to strengthen digital health capacity. And ultimately, this should lead to more successful, sustainable, digital health systems to contribute to a more resilient health system and healthier populations. Another flagship project for I-DAIR is a global research map of digital health and AI. And this was the first dashboard we did. It was using natural language processing to comb through all the publications, patents, peer-reviewed literature, gray literature, and creating this interactive dashboard. And then this is actually kind of showing where there's kind of content in spatial relationship to each other. And this is actually looking at mental health content. So another iteration of our global research map is focused on mental health and well-being, and looking at digital interventions for mental health and well-being. So we want to expand on this idea of a global research map for different topic areas. Another flagship project is on citizen science. So this is part of our pandemic scheme. Right now, we have a multi-country needs assessment happening to engage citizens to see how interested, how receptive are they in getting involved in research. Because with COVID, I mean, that was real-time research. And so that really, I think, was probably one of the first opportunities for citizens to really contribute to the real-time science. And what are their concerns about being involved in research? They probably have some privacy concerns. How is their data going to be used? So we're involved in this study right now. And I think this is the last flagship project I'm going to show. Is about responsible and gender responsive AI for health and LMICs. So this is funded by IDRC, as I mentioned, the International Development and Research Center in Canada. And so we have a role. This is our role in this larger AI for Health initiative they have, where we are going to advise the research network and the kind of incubator startup network that the IDRC is creating. We're going to advise those researchers and startup companies on how to implement responsible and gender responsive AI and strengthen their capacity. I mean, we're not necessarily know everything ourselves. We're all going to learn together, and then contribute to the to new research, and especially expand the body of research to have the LMIC perspective, since the research is pretty much dominated by the US and China. Actually, our global research map shows that. So we want to get more LMIC representation, in the body of research out there. And that's the end of my slides.
Muchas gracias, Alice. Bueno, ustedes ven que es un tremendo partner y hay muchas otras opciones de colaboración con CENS, de CENS con I-DAIR, y también de vuestras universidades, vuestros servicios de salud, acercarse a ellos si necesitan o si quieren, se interesan participar en alguna de las actividades académicas, en alguna de las investigaciones. Ellos están abiertos a recibir a quien quiera, trabajar con ellos. Esto es una organización también sin fines de lucro, etcétera, etcétera. Estamos a punto de terminar. Quisiéramos solo darle las gracias por estar acá. Volver a recordarles, por favor, aquellos que no se han inscrito en la plataforma, de TechChange que lo hagan. Hay varios de ustedes que están en la reunión, pero no se han, digamos, no se han incorporado a la plataforma, no se han inscrito a la plataforma. Todavía no hemos aceptado vuestras postulaciones, no se preocupen en la plataforma, ya lo vamos a hacer, así que tienen que esperar de que eso ocurra. Y Alice, you have your hand on. You want to make a
Yes.
question?
Before we close, I wanted to say a couple of things, and then I didn't know if people had some questions. So just on that collaboration point, yes, that's another motivation we had behind this course, is that we really wanted to expand our work in Latin America. And, we are very interested if you have some similar needs or interests in joining, part of that trusted research infrastructure network. If you'd like to collaborate on any capacity development, we are compiling that quote unquote course library is not a real library yet, but we are compiling a spreadsheet of existing courses and other learning opportunities. We're using it very broadly because as we all know, learning these days is happening everywhere. It's not just going to university. People are taking seminars, they are going to conferences, there are boot camps, courses through Coursera and other platforms. So if you have courses that you would like to have included in the course library, we'd love to add it to our inventory. If you are interested in some of the citizen science work, if there are other AI, machine learning, digital health initiatives that you have that you see where we could collaborate, or I'll put my email in the chat. Definitely reach out. I do anticipate that with our new CEO, Ricardo, and I think it's part of our core, our roots, but as well as I can anticipate Ricardo will take us forward, is working on that digital health and AI governance and policy. I think that is something that is something that we, that's a kind of a niche that we fill, is our access to people in the governments, in the ministries of health, in the diplomatic space. So we can be an advocacy arm for your needs and issues. And so there are a lot of different ways we can engage. So I'll put my email in the chat. And the one quick reminder too, that at the end of the course, I know that TechChange will have you fill out a survey. One thing we also thought we would like to do is have a sort of a focus group, or sort of a virtual meeting to not only gather feedback on the course, but really to think about what else do you need, right? What other types of training you might need, just explore where, what other areas of need that we could potentially work on together. So just keep that in mind. We'll reach out to you closer towards the end of the course to try and organize a focus group type of meeting. I think I know that TechChange probably has included information about.
Muchas gracias.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say, just
Muchas gracias. Hay una pregunta para ti, Alice, en el chat. Yo le pediría a la persona que se la hizo que se la mande directamente a su correo electrónico. No me recuerdo el nombre de la persona que la hizo. Que por favor se la haga directamente al correo electrónico, para que puedan tener un contacto más directo sobre los requisitos que se necesitan para pertenecer a la red de investigación. Pero una pregunta para Alice. Bueno, estamos terminando nuestra reunión. Solo decirle que estamos tremendamente entusiasmados. Vuelvo a insistir, esto es primera vez que este curso se va a dar en español. Gracias por la paciencia a las personas que invitamos inicialmente y después le dijimos más adelante, pero creo que la espera Fue absolutamente beneficiosa porque vamos a tener este curso en nuestro lenguaje materno. Va a ser mucho más fácil trabajar en los grupos. Así que, bueno, solo decirles que nos vemos la próxima semana y de ahí nos veremos una vez a la semana y esperamos que sea tremendamente provechoso para ustedes. Vuelvo a insistir, inscríbanse en la plataforma, los que no lo han hecho todavía, porque tenemos gente en lista de espera y si no se inscribe en la plataforma vamos a dar los cupos a las personas que están en la lista de espera. Muchas gracias y nos vemos la próxima semana. Chao.
Gracias, chao.
Bye.